Hey, what's going on, guys? Matt Belair here, and in this video, I want to talk quickly about the best morning routines. Now, we all know that morning routines are incredibly important. How you start your day, how you get going can set the tone for the entire day. And there are so many things that you can do. I remember reading all these things about morning routines, and by the time I was done, it was about 2 hours in, and I was like, holy smokes, this really takes a long time to kind of do all these things. And so I find that so many people don't create a morning routine because they get overwhelmed with what is the best thing to do. And so the first thing that I'll say is make the morning routine your own and pick something you're going to commit to. So if it's one thing, commit to one thing. If you can commit to two, then commit to two. But if you think you're going to commit to five and you don't, what happens is you end up doing zero. So figure out what you can commit to. And I'm going to give you some suggestions that I think are really important. The first one is gratitude. That one comes up all the time. Journaling is a fantastic morning routine, and I recommend that as well. So just journal 3 things that you're grateful for, or just think about 3 things that you're grateful for. If that was the number one recommendation that I could give, it would be to think about a few things that you're really grateful for and generate that feeling of gratitude. Hal Elrod has a book called Miracle Morning, and he has a morning routine called Savers, and that stands for silence, affirmations, visualization, exercise, reading, and scribe, which is essentially journaling. And so my favorite ones have been silence, journaling. It's something that I always have, in affirmations, and usually with that affirmations, I'll make it an active visualization, and that for me is key. And then also reading. And so if I have more time in my life, is a little bit more open, and the mornings are a little bit more quiet. And now that I have a daughter, I'm kind of reorienting. And the whole thing is just make sure that you're doing something, like your basics. So the basics, for me is going to be down to journaling. I'm at least going to journal. And when I'm maxing it out, it's probably going to be an hour, maybe an hour and a half process for me to get through everything. And so the important ones for me have been journaling every single day. And what I like to do is I write down 3 things that I'm grateful for and 3 things that I'm calling in from the universe. I'm asking the universe for help and prayer. I usually will say a prayer. I have my own prayer that I go through, which is, it's always modifying, it's always changing, but it's my own connection with God, spirit, the universe, to ask to be in alignment and peace and to make the most out of my day. And a lot of times I'll do that in journaling and writing. The other thing that I like to do is that I like to write down my life is ideal when. Now, this doesn't mean that my life isn't amazing now. You got to be grateful and content and whole and harmonious with where you are now, because there will always be that next bar. And as a creator, I want to focus on, what is it that I want to bring into my world? What is it that I want to offer? What is it that I want to improve or experience? And so I'll say, and I'll start to write down, my life is ideal when. I'm like, ... And I'll talk about right now what would be the podcast and the quantum heart journey and traveling and all these other different things, experiences with my daughter. In the past, it was more around snowboarding, depending on the winter, where I'd like to go snowboarding and how I'd like that to shape out. And so I get in this imagination space and creation space. And it's really fun for me to journal. And so the other thing is the affirmations, and the affirmations are kind of like, the clear goals. So you have goals, but you affirm them in affirmations, and you know how clear you are by how excited you are when you share them. And you will then prioritize your goals. And so they could be relationship goals, they could be health goals, they could be finance goals, they could be transitioning from a job goal. It doesn't really matter what it is. And so if I were to break it down succinctly, what I'd recommend is journaling in the morning, 3 things that you're grateful for, 3 things that you'd like to call in, a little bit of imagination scribing. So my life is ideal when, or I love the idea, and just imagining your future and recognizing that if you create, put some effort into it, you can create that. Maybe you're like, I love the idea of a beautiful, loving partner. I love the idea of being in shape and feeling vital. I love the idea of getting my health back. I love the idea of starting a business that I'm passionate about, and the business I'm passionate about is so-and-so, and this is the person that I help. And so you kind of just get into that imagination space, and you can feel it, and you can begin to generate that. So then you can look at your task list during the day and what you need to do and what you can do to create those things and bring it into your reality, because you need to put some effort in. And so it starts with thinking and imagining. And then the last idea too is understanding that a night routine is very important as well. And so if you can go to sleep and look at your goals and your affirmations and reaffirm what you're grateful for, and make sure that you're not watching screens until the very last moment, which I'm definitely guilty of a lot of the time when I'm looking up research and I'm just in the rabbit hole and I'm like, okay, I gotta stop this. So the other thing is to be easy on yourself, because studying peak performance and trying so many different techniques, I'm not always perfect, for sure. When I trained with the Shaolin monks, that training was intense and really hard to sustain by myself here in Canada. There are different times in my life with different circumstances. I'm more disciplined and I'm less disciplined, but it's very important to keep track of what you're doing so you know what is most effective for you, what gave you the best results. Because if you're not getting the results you want, then you can adjust from what you've done before. And so sometimes my morning routine is up and out the door because I'm going snowboarding. And while I'm up on the chairlift, I'm doing visualizations, I'm doing different things. Sometimes I'm more out in nature. Sometimes I'm more in work mode. And so that really has to do with the task list and visualizing what I'm creating as far as a project that I'm working on or things like that. And so just be aware of what you're doing and log it so you can know how the results are going and what you're getting, and knowing that you can identify or change things. And that's why tracking is so important. So that's it. That's my 2 cents on morning routines. I hope that it was helpful. If you have any questions, put them in the comments below. I'd be happy to comment, share, and give you some feedback. So big love. Thanks for watching. Have an amazing day. Peace.